Hello dear friends and welcome back to Book Break. My name is George Lester and I'm here to cover for the lovely Jean while a new creative producer is recruited for the good ship Pan Macmillan. Thank you so much for having me back. Amid the absolute horror of Once Upon a Time being cancelled, I have been asked to talk to you today about fairy tale retellings that you can sink your teeth into to tide you over, to make you feel better, to soothe those feelings of absolute horror that your favourite TV show is now deceased. So without too much preamble, let's get into it. The first books I'm going to talk to you about today are two picture books by author-illustrator extraordinaire Bethan Woolvin, and they are Little Red and Rapunzel. Both of these are retellings of fairy tales done in such a kooky and interesting way. They are, one, before we even get into the fact that these are fairy tale retellings and that they are so innovative and so different in what they do, we need to first talk about the gorgeous illustrations. The little pop of colour on the page. It's so stunning, and these spreads give me absolute life. What's so great about these is that these are unique takes on well-known, well-trodden fairy tale paths. Little Red Riding Hood, for example, and Rapunzel. What she creates is these uniquely dark and really funny takes on classic fairy tales. I mean, I'm living for this witch's hat as she is climbing up Rapunzel's hair. Absolutely living. And there is just something about the use of the pared back palette everywhere else, the blacks and the whites and the greys, and that little pop of yellow that she has on this page, in the same way that in Little Red there's that little pop of red on the page that really makes everything just look so gorgeous. She also has one out called Hansel and Gretel, which is also completely stunning and twists and turns into places that you would not expect a picture book to be twisting and turning, but it does it, and it's really cool. So something for the little ones in your life if you want a bit of a fairy tale kick and you want to give one to them too. The next book I'm going to talk to you about is another illustrated one, which is The Sleeper and the Spindle by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Chris Riddell. Oh, what's that? Yes, it is signed. Ding! The Sleeper and the Spindle is a part Snow White, part Sleeping Beauty, mishmash retelling sort of thing, accompanied by the absolutely stunning illustrations of Mr. Chris Riddell with spot colour in gold. I mean, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. On the night before her wedding, a queen sets out to save a princess from an enchantment. She throws away her wedding dress, she puts on her chainmail, she grabs her sword, and off she jolly well goes. This twists together something quite familiar, but also something quite new. It kind of takes those lovely fairy tale tropes and happily flips them on their head, all accompanied by Chris Riddell's absolutely gorgeous illustrations. A super big recommend there. The Sleeper and the Spindle. Also, I mean, in the hardback edition, it's this gorgeous cover with this beneath it. It's just beautiful, perfect, gorgeous, lovely little thing. This. Moving seamlessly into a little bit of young adult, I want to talk to you about Heartless by Marissa Mayer. Before she was the Queen of Hearts, Catherine Pinkerton was just a girl in love for the first time. Marissa Mayer, who is arguably the absolute queen of retellings. If you are in any way familiar with her Lunar Chronicles series, I could be sat here talking about any one of them, because you have Cinder, which is the retelling of Cinderella, you have Cress, which is the retelling of Rapunzel, that's my version of hair coming down. You have Scarlet, which I believe is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. And then you have Winter, which I believe is a retelling of Snow White. In those, much like in Bethan Woolvin and Neil Gaiman's stories, she takes the classic fairy tale tropes, she takes the things that we know about these stories that are so familiar and flips them on their head. In the quartet, she weaves these stories together and creates a whole new narrative for these fairy tale characters. It's brilliant. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about Heartless. Heartless is the story of the Queen of Hearts before she was the Queen of Hearts. It tells the story of a girl called Catherine Pinkerton who is known to be favoured by the King of Hearts. She is a talented baker and all she wants to do is open her own bakery shop in town. But her parents aren't too keen on that idea. But when she meets Jest for the first time, the court jester, she feels true attraction for the first time and she starts to fall for him. What this book is a sprawling, gorgeous romance all set in Wonderland. It features familiar characters from the White Rabbit to the Mad Hatter to the Cheshire Cat. It gives you all of that and something extra. It's a prequel to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and it is just perfection. It had me absolutely hooked. I was sat reading it and it was one of those ones where you're just kind of really quite in it and you're just kind of feeling everything that Catherine is feeling. Oh, and it features like so many other cool things as well, which I can't tell you about because it's spoilers. I very nearly just spoiled the entire book for you. But there's so much to look forward to in Heartless by Marissa Mayer. It's absolutely wonderful. A really gorgeous retelling that is still really true to the source material. It's fantastic and kind of fits really well into Wonderland. Oh, Alice. From prequels to sequels, next up I'm going to be talking to you about Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. This tells the story of a twisted Oz that we do not know. We've had Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Wicked by Gregory Maguire fully could have been on this list. I fully should have talked about Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Wicked by Gregory Maguire is a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. It is the untold story of the Witches of Oz and follows Elphaba, who ends up being the Wicked Witch of the West. In a similar way to Heartless by Marissa, it is telling that story that we have not seen. It's that untold story of how they came to be this horrible, awful, awful person. What happened to them? And Wicked is amazing for that very reason. It also has a tiny, teeny, tiny musical, like on Broadway in the West End. You might have heard of it, I don't know. But Dorothy Must Die is a sequel to The Wizard of Oz, and it follows the story of a girl called Amy Gum, who is the other girl from Kansas. She ends up in Oz, and it is not the Oz that we know and love. This Oz is a place where the good witches can't be trusted, and the wicked witches might actually be the good guys, and where winged monkeys are being put up for execution for rebellion. The yellow brick road is still there, but it's not so shiny, and no one's dancing down it to the Emerald City today. This is about a Dorothy Gale who has gone mad with power and basically seized power in Oz, and the power sort of went to her head a little bit. So Amy Gum is taken to Oz and she is recruited by the Revolutionary Order of the Wicked, and she has a mission. And as you might have guessed by the title, it's to take down Dorothy. Quite uncomfortable reading when you're a bit of a musical theatre geek and a huge fan of The Wizard of Oz, I can tell you that much. Just in case Wicked wasn't enough to throw that off kilter. And last but by no means least, Unburied Fables, which is a short story collection published by a small independent press called Creative Aces. Every single one of these stories in this collection is a reinvention of a classic fairy tale that you know and love, all with a diverse twist. Every single story in this collection is a little bit queer in some way and features stories from Beauty and the Beast to Peter Pan and back again. It is an absolutely stunning collection with some incredibly talented authors in it, and like with most short story collections, there is something in there for everyone. Personal favourites of mine include Handsome and the Beast, Matchsticks, Brenner and Dark Matter. But like I said, like with any short story collection, there is something in here for absolutely everyone, and I'm sure there is something in here for you, dear watcher, if you're still here. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you so much, Book Break, for having me back. It's been an absolute pleasure. My name is George Lester. All of my links will be in the description box below, so you can go and find me on my YouTube channel where I make videos about books, like, constantly. Can you tell that I kind of like books from the background? There's a whole lot going on back here. Don't forget to click that like button and comment down below with your favourite fairy tale retellings. We would love to hear from you. And mash that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you don't miss a single Book Break video. You know you want to. Go on, do it, just for me. I've been George Lester, and if they ever decide to have me back again, I will speak to you soon. Bye!